Well, I'm in the polytunnel. It's quite windy outside and that might alter the audio of this video in a detrimental way, so I thought, in the polytunnel, yeah, I'm sat here on my rocker. It rocks. It's great. But anyway, retirement. People have asked me about my retirement in the past, and I've just been basically brief on how I retired. And basically, you know, my plans for retirement got scuppered when I was 52. I always planned on retiring at 55, 60s maybe. But, you know, after my divorce, it was just quite difficult, to say the least. What happened was that I was left with two teenagers. My youngest daughter was just about to start college and my middle son was just about to start university. My eldest son, well, he'd already started to make his life with his girlfriend elsewhere. And I had to, if you like, take on a mortgage for the property and buy her out, because all my assets, or all the assets, were lumped together and that was it. Split, if you like, equally, 50-50. And my pensions went. Any private pensions, I got liquidated because it was a question of, would I want to, now at nearly 70, be still paying my ex-wife? And the answer was no. So I liquidated all pensions. I had no pensions at all. So I ended up with a very large mortgage. Now, I wasn't going to retire. I wasn't going to retire at 60. I couldn't see myself retiring at 62, so I said it's 66. And I was even prepared to work above 66. I had the idea that I might downsize my job and go part-time somewhere. But that was the plan. I'm 66. And my priorities were just simple at that time. Just clear debt. And the only debt I had was my mortgage. I worked all the hours I could. I didn't spend much. And there weren't meals out or expensive holidays or anything else, partly because I was working so much. Partly because I guess I knew I didn't have the luxury of drifting financially. It wasn't dramatic, it was steady. And after a couple of years, things began to settle down. And I finally met the woman who is now my wife. So I bought another house in what is now my hometown. And that's where she was living. I rented my original property out and meant I was effectively carrying two mortgages. It sounds risky. I thought it was risky. And it was. But that's what I had calculated. And my plan was already that one day I would sell that original property. Now the timing mattered. I waited until my daughter had finished college. Then I sold up. And the profit from the sale, coupled with savings, allowed me to clear the mortgage on the home we now live in. And by the time I was 60, I was mortgage free. Now that was my turning point. But here's something important. I didn't slow down at 60. I worked and saved like the clappers. Those years between 60 and 66 were about strengthening the position and not relaxing. I secured a small private pension and added to the state pension, and that was enough. It wasn't extravagant, it's not loads of money, but it was enough. And at that point, retirement for me wasn't about becoming wealthy. It was about removing pressure. And by the time I was 66, there was no mortgage, no debts, as to say, a modest but steady income from my private pension and state pension. Now, during my working, I've future-proofed, if you like, the house with a downstairs extension with walk-in shower, toilet and sink, etc. The kitchen was refurbished, modernised. The two main bedrooms were fully fitted wardrobes. Now that's how I planned it. Another important thing that I did was, after the, if you like, the practical things were sorted out, and even my hobbies were already funded. My camping gear, fishing tackle, cameras and camera equipment, the clothes, the outdoor clothes, the walking boots and rucksacks and so on, I bought while I was still earning properly. All the overtime God could send, I was having. And I mean 60, 72, 84 hours a week. A day off in a week was about right for me. I was working at, but I worked, in my opinion, far too hard. But it was a necessity, in my humble opinion. Now, I arrived at my retirement at 66, well and truly prepared. I had a steady income that I could live on, and still can. I have money in the bank, and which I've never touched. In fact, the interest on it has grown over the years. But obviously inflation and things like that have taken it back down a bit. Now, this is what I did. And I'm not an advice guru or financial guru in any way. And I wouldn't dream of telling you exactly what to do. I'm telling you what I did. Now, but I will say this, if you're in your 50s and you feel like you're starting again, I understand that feeling. I lived it. And believe it or not, starting doesn't mean you're finished. Accept reality quickly. Clear debt before chasing returns. Don't inflate your lifestyle when things improve. Think long term. Future-proof before you're forced to. And don't slow down just because things are starting to look better. Because by the time I reached 66, I didn't need more money. I needed less pressure. And retirement isn't about chasing millions. It's about removing the things that can hurt you. Debt, uncertainty, and false expectations. You don't need millions. You need a plan. And you need clarity. You need discipline. And you need time on your side. So, my advice is start now. I hope that helped some people. And there'll be future episodes on retirement. So, in the meantime, take care. Bye now.